In this video, we'll explore Gradio, a Python library which allows for interactive demos with only a few codes in Python. I'm going to walk you through different components that can be used in a Gradio interface, and I will show you some Hugging Face spaces as real-world examples of what these interfaces are capable of. Let's explain how Gradio works with a Hello World example. So here in the Gradio website, we can see instructions for how to install Gradio. It's pretty simple. It's only with one line of command line. I'm going to skip through here because I want to focus on what this interface offers. So by looking at the code here, we see that we have an interface, a Gradio interface, that has a text input and a text output. And as we can see here, there's an input called name, and there's an output that can generate the output for us. So if I enter my name here and then click submit, it will show a message which is greeting me. So the interface class that we're using has three different parameters. Let's check them out. So the first one is fn, which is the function to wrap the user interface around. We also have inputs and outputs. Each of these inputs and outputs can be of different types. For example, they can be text, image, audio, video, and more. We can also set different attributes for each of the components. So for example, here in this text box, we can have 2 lines instead of 1. So now here this input text box has a height of 2 lines rather than 1. We can also have multiple inputs and output components. For example, here we have a greet function which has different inputs and different outputs. So this is how the interface looks like. We have a text input, we have a checkbox input, and we have another input which is a slider to set the temperature. So I can set the temperature, I can enter my name here, and let's say it's not morning. So if I click submit, it says, "Good evening, Reza, it's 70 degrees today." And down below, there's another output, which is a conversion of Fahrenheit to Celsius. We can also use image components. So this is how the code for it looks like. So right now, inside the Gradio app, the component that is used for image is giving an error, but that's not a problem. That's why we have Hugging Face. So let's go check out a Hugging Face interface which uses an image component. So this space is called Illusion Diffusion. And what it does is that based on one of these patterns, so let's say we pick this pattern, it can create an optical illusion based on the prompt that we enter here. So let's use the same prompt here. Let's do a medieval village. And I click run. So now it created an image of a medieval village following this optical illusion pattern. So if I zoom out from here, hopefully now it's easier for you to see the pattern in the created image. All right, back to Gradio. Another feature that we can use in Gradio are chatbots. This is how the code looks like. So in this chatbot, we're just generating a random answer, which would be either yes or no. But in a real world scenario, we're going to use a large language model to generate proper responses based on the user's prompts. So for example, here I can say hi. It says no. Let's say, how are you? So for now, we're just getting a random no or yes answer because that is the only answer that the chatbot can generate. Later on, we can add a large language model to help us generate an actual chat interaction with the user. In Gradio, we can take advantage of the blocks feature, which gives us more flexibility and control. So traditionally, we can use either interface or a chat interface to interact with a model through Gradio library. But using blocks, we can create different blocks and put different components in each of those blocks. It allows for more complex interactions between different components in Gradio. So let's have a look at an example of using blocks. So here we are creating a block. Inside this block, we have two text boxes. We have a button, and we can also assign a function to the click functionality of the button. So whenever that button is clicked, the greet function is called, and it will pass these parameters to the function. So now we can see that all of these components are in one block. And this is how we can add more complexity to our blocks. So in this code, we can see that we are creating a block, but we are also creating two different tabs. And inside each of these tabs, we have different components. So let's see how the interface looks like. So now we have a block, and there is one tab here, and there's another tab here. So in this tab, we have an input image and an output image component. But in the first tab, we have an input text and an output text. Down below, we also have an accordion menu. We can close it and open it. And inside here, we can add more components as we need. So that was a brief overview of what Gradio can offer us. Now let's have a look at some real-world examples in Hugging Face. We've already covered this illusion diffusion model. Let's look at some other examples. So this space is called Fast Stable Diffusion, and it is an image generator. Here we can use different diffusion checkpoints for different types of image generation, and there are more settings down below which helps us modify the different features and parameters that the model provides. So for example, this image is generated by this positive prompt of space warrior, beautiful, female, ultra realistic, soft lighting, 8K, and with these negative prompts. So the positive prompts are the things that we want to have in the image, and negative prompts are the things that we don't want to have in the image. And each time that I create generate, it creates a new picture for me. And here we go. We generated a new image using the same prompt. Let's have a look at another example. So here we have an interactive demo of music captioning. We can upload an audio file here, and then it will generate a caption based on the file that we uploaded. In conclusion, in this video, we learned about Gradio, a Python library for building graphical user interfaces for interaction with AI models. We explored different components that can be used in Gradio, and we also saw some Hugging Face spaces as real-world examples of how Gradio can be used as an interface between users and AI models.